Okay, Jacob, we are going to do system of equations elimination method. And the number we're going to do on the worksheets I gave you, number 9 here, 5x plus y equals 9, 10x minus 7y equals 18. So let's write that down. We have number 9 here. 5x plus y equals 9. Call that equation number 1. We'll call equation number 2 here 10x, the one on the bottom. 10x minus 7y equals negative 18. So if you recall with this elimination method, our first order is to see if we have the option just to add the two equations together, right? Or maybe we could subtract both equations, right? Put a big equal sign. So we can only do that if what? Well, if we have perhaps like a 5x and a 5x, right? 5x and a 5x. If we had that, we could subtract both. We'd end up with a 0x, right? We get rid of one of those variables because that's our goal, right? To get rid of one of the variables so we can solve for the other one, whether getting rid of the x to solve for the y or getting rid of the y variable to solve for x. Because once we then find that, x or y, then we can plug that back into either one of those equations to solve for the other one, right? Well, for the y's and the x's, these aren't alike, right? We've got a 5 and a 10, so that's no good. The y's, we have what would be a 1, right? A 1y and a negative 7. So that's not going to work. So we don't have that first option. Well, next order of business would be, can we multiply one of the equations, either number 1 or number 2, by some kind of factor on each side, so that then we would get like a 10x and a 10x, or a 7y and a 7y, right? Well, let's see. We could do one of two things. We could multiply by 2 here, right, on this top equation. Why would we want to do that? Well, that would make this 10x, right? We could do that. Or we could multiply the top equation by 7. Well, why would I say that? 7 on both sides. Well, if we did that, the y here would become a 7y, right? And then we'd have two 7y's. Well, let's go ahead and just do the first one. I'm going to create some space here. Should have done that to begin with. I'm going to bring this down just a little here. Let's go ahead and multiply the top equation by 2. That by 2, this by 2. Okay? I'll move that over again. We're getting messy. Let's clean it up. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. So we're going to have to, remember, we're multiplying by 2. That means both sides of equation 1 has to be multiplied, not just the left, but the right. So the top, we have 10x plus 2y equals, what's this? 9 times 2, that's 18. We will call that, let's just call that equation 3. Now, it's an equivalent form of equation 1 because all we have done is just multiply both sides by 2, but it is a different looking equation, even though it's an equivalent of equation 1. We will repeat equation 2. So let's get that lined up, the x's lined up, the y's lined up. We got a negative 18 there. Okay. So now what can we do? Well, if we subtracted the top equation 3 with the bottom equation 2, what would happen? Let's put a parentheses around this whole thing so we know how to, deal with the minus. Well, a 10 minus a 10 is going to be a 0x, right? So we've accomplished our goal of getting rid of one of the variables. A positive 2 minus a minus minus 7. So in other words, minus a minus, that's going to be a plus, right? So it'd be 2 plus 7. that's going to be a positive 9y. Now what happened there again? We got a positive 2 minus a negative 7. That causes it to be a plus, right? So it's 2 plus 9, or 2 plus 7 is 9. And finally, we have 18 minus a negative 18. So again, a minus a negative, so we're going to have a plus. That will be what? 36. Why is that? Because it's basically then 18 plus 18. Okay? So this goes away, right? We just have a 9y equals 36. Okay. So now the part to find the y, right? Because we have the y's left, we can solve for y. Well, how do we do that? We're going to divide by 9. I know you know that, right? What happens there when we do that? Those go to 1, right? 9 over 9 is just 1, so it's 1y. Y is equal to 36 divided by 9, 4. So we have a y of 4 in our solution. The coordinate there is going to be a 4, so we know that. Okay, we'll put a new color for their coordinate. Something 4, something 4. What is the something? What is x? Well, we can take any of our equations, 1, 2, or 3, plug in the y value of 4 to figure out what x is. Well, let's just use the original equation 1. We're going to go up here, 5x, and that was minus, or what is that, plus y. So plus 4, because we are substituting 4 in for y. That's equal to 9. So this was the original equation 1. 5x plus y equals 9. We're subbing in 4 for y. What's that? 5x. Well, let's see. We got a plus 4. How do we get this x by itself? Well, first we got to get the 5x by itself. That's the first order. So let's subtract 4. What will that do? That gets us at 5x equals 5. Divide by 5. X equals 1. So when we're all said and done, we should be at a 1, 4 for the solution. Let's see what we got. Number 9. Elimination. What was number 9? 1, 4. We're good to go. A positive 1, a positive 4. We got it. Let's give ourselves a little happy face here. That's it.